Hello. Hello. All right, I'm going to share this in various places so that people know I am live. And give me just a minute to and then I'll be done. All right. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. How are y'all? Happy early St. Patrick's Day. Thank you, Hilma. Thank you. So I'm hoping that this will actually, the comments will, the chat will actually show up in the video when it goes as a replay on YouTube, according to what I've been finding out, looking at on YouTube, is that they have changed things. So I have a journal with me to upload to Patreon once you finish editing for for YouTube. But what I haven't done is do the voiceover yet. And I thought, I've been doing a lot of research and a lot of thinking over the past week about self-care. I took almost a whole week off from almost everything. You can't see the comments. Okay, you should, if you're commenting, you should be able to, oh, okay. um, so everybody can hear me okay? I'm sorry for the lighting. It's nighttime and I don't want to cut on. Oh, thank you, Helma. Thank you. You know, that's the first time I think anybody's done the monetary thing. Thank you so much. I will have a coffee. I actually do have a coffee. One of the things I've been talking about in Patreon is self-care this month. Great. Thanks, Lee. Today, I actually went and had my hair trimmed. I got some new makeup. I got a couple of new blouses from the clearance part of Learners New York at their outlet at the mall. Well, you can't really call it a mall because it's not really a mall. It says it's a mall, but it's a shopping center. I'm from a bigger city, and what we have here is not a real mall. So, but anyway, I painted my nails. I went and had my hair trimmed. I got some new makeup. And I just got foundation and some setting powder. I've switched foundations, but had to get up out of bed so that I could come down and participate at the computer. Oh, well, thank you. But I thought over this past week, I haven't really uploaded to YouTube. I did a coffee chat for Patreon. I have a journal with me to upload. But what I have done is take some time for me. I couldn't do anything that required me to really talk, which makes it really hard to do anything unless you just add music to it. So I managed to get a coffee chat done for Patreon, and it took everything I could. Thank you. But what I didn't realize taking this week off, pretty much a whole week off, how much time I actually spend on social media. That's wasted time. How much I converge home life and work life and everything else into like all of it. and how much I actually need to start taking one day off a week where I don't film, where um, I don't really answer messages or notifications or anything that has to do with social media. I can, at my leisure, get on and comment or post pictures or whatever if I want, but only if I want. I need to have, thank you. My mouth is feeling better. Thank you. Thank you. I am still healing. One of my, you can still kind of tell that, but my cheek is still a little swollen, but it's much better. I go back to the dentist on the 7th of April, and that's when we start the rest of the work. But I'm getting things done. You need a non-electronic day. Yes, I need an analog day. um, so Mr. Rockstar and I were talking. He realized while compartmentalizing is hard, it is needed, and I do need to compartmentalize. And the reason I decided to do this, I shared this video in the my Facebook group and in my Patreon Facebook group, because this is a subject that I think is important for every single person out there. I don't care whether you're a man or a woman or whatever. I've been doing y'all still gonna have to bear with me because talking is not completely easy. It doesn't hurt to talk anymore, but there's still some swelling. I've been doing Ali Brown's Plan Your Peace. And the reason I decided to do it was because I need to get a system that works for me. The system I used to have was for a job that was set hours with set things that was completely separate from home. So I had home stuff that I kept a running to-do list of, and then work stuff that I kept a running to-do list of, and they were never merged. They were never merged. Now everything is sort of, I multitask during the day when I'm in here filming or anything. And so while I'm doing stuff, laundry is washing, dishes are soaking, you know. So I have realized that I need to do a little bit better job of putting my system to work in a way that really works for me. And right now I can't afford to outsource anything. I wish that I could. But what I can do is learn easier ways, smarter ways instead of harder. And taking this week off, I realized I didn't delegate enough stuff. Mr. Rockstar finally realized how much work I'm actually doing because he did all the cooking and cleaning until last night. And he said, you should not, we don't have a dishwasher. You wash dishes by hand. So you're washing dishes at least once or twice a day, at least, unless you want a sink full of dishes. I pretty much cook every day. And he said, you shouldn't have to do this all the time like this. And I said, well, we can't afford to eat out all the time. And two, I wouldn't want to eat out all the time. I don't like fast food. And three, he can't really eat fast food. And he said, no, but we're going to start making more at one time. So maybe on my days off, we can cook quite a bit. And then that way we have meals to work through the rest of the part of the week. So we don't have to cook. So you don't have to cook every day. We can do it together. He said, and then on the days when I don't have a really rough day at work, he said, when I come home, if you cook, then I can do the dishes. You know, he's realized just how much I'm doing. And he said, you are only one person. You can't do it all yourself. And he said, and I no wonder you're so frazzled. Sometimes you're so, you know, frustrated or so much, or you're in pain because you're just trying to do too much. And that was something that I didn't want to let control of. I didn't want to let go of that control because I had gotten so used to doing all the things myself. He didn't really know where everything was in the kitchen. You know, so this past week, he went back to work tonight. This past week, he's realized it is a great lesson in self-care. And part of what I learned this week was how much self-care is more than, and I've been talking about what self-care is, and their self-care is more than just what a lot of people think of self-care. But me scheduling self-care down doesn't necessarily mean that I'm actually going to do it, because something will come up and then I let that something come up and then I don't always do what I've planned to do. Like, I don't always take an artist date if something comes up, or I don't always take that self-care day to do whatever it is I have planned. And what I have realized is listening to some people talk about different things, like I've listened to some of her videos, and I've listened to some of Courtney's videos and some of Allie's video things with the planner thing, and some of what other people are putting out on YouTube. Jamie Riddler's a good one. There are quite a few other people. And when you listen to other people talk and they're going through some of the same things, Rogue gave some really good advice about like things that you're doing in your planner or your journal, when people are asking questions or people are doing, and they're asking. And her thing is, sometimes, and I think it really is important. You just have to keep doing it. Some things you can't teach a person. That person has to just keep practicing. They have to keep doing it themselves. Well, self-care, unfortunately for us, we don't always keep practicing. We don't always take the time. We make excuses. I am very guilty of doing just that, of making excuses for, oh, well, I don't have time to take an artist date, or I don't have time to do this, or that's not really that important. That I putting other priorities above me and what is actually important for me. I don't always do that. I have been very guilty. And then in other ways, I've actually been a little selfish. And I've realized that I wouldn't have to be a little selfish if I took more real time for me, for self-care. If I got off of social media completely for at least a bit of time. If I said, okay, I will be available up until 7 o'clock at night, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then and Saturday, or sometimes Saturday, but on Wednesday after like 1 o'clock, no, or on Sundays, no. Now that depends. Like, sometimes I could do it differently. But I've noticed that Messenger, each of us can do it. It's doing it every day that burns us out, hence the need to take time for us. Yes, yes. Now I'm not saying I need to take time for like hours every day. I don't think that is, but I realize that after a certain time in the evening, at like, depending on the day, I need to say, okay, I'm not going to be available. If you message me or email me or whatever, I'm not going to be answering any of that until the next day. If it's after a certain period of time, because I cannot continue to, every time I turn around, check my tablet or check the laptop or check back here on the computer, because I don't have all that stuff on my phone. I don't have Facebook or Messenger or anything on my phone. It takes up too much memory on my phone. So I only have the things that are actually important on my phone. I do have Gmail, I think, because I have Google on my phone. So sometimes random notifications for email will pop up. But a lot of that stuff, I've realized that I just cannot keep up. I'm taking time away from my family and time away from things I could be doing, like reading or writing. And it's not fair to anybody if I'm so multitasking that nobody gets my actual real attention. They're only getting a little portion of my attention. This week made me realize that. I can multitask, and I'm really good at multitasking. But after a certain point, your attention is too focused on too many things, so nothing is getting all of your attention. They're only getting little tiny bits of your attention. And I would rather be a good listener, you know, Turning off electronics at night is magic. I keep my phone notifications on because of family, but Facebook, Instagram, etc. Or no. Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, if I get a text message from my daughter, I'm going to answer it, no matter what else is going on, because one, she's my child, but two, she's the mother of my grandchild. You know, if I get a phone call from my mom, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. But I have realized I have been so, because Mr. Rockstar was over the road for such a good while, I got used to being able to get on anytime I wanted because he wasn't home. So I wasn't interrupting my time with anybody else. But when my daughter goes back to work, which will probably be the end of this month, I will be getting Victor on a regular basis again on Wednesdays. And my time with him is precious. Um, he and I can do creative things every now and again, and I might film him drawing or painting, and that's cool, put a picture of it or whatever. But I'm not going to be interrupting my time with anybody. If I'm online and I'm in a personal chat with someone, I think it would be rude to be interrupting my chat with them. I think with the availability of so much technology, we have in a way lost our manners, lost our mindfulness and our intentionally sitting down with somebody face to face and talking with them. While I'm on this chat, I've already talked to Mr. Rockstar this evening because he's working tonight, and my phone is in there in the dining room on the dining room table. I will hear it so that if it seems like it might be something important, I can go get it and check it. Yeah, family should be first. If you're sitting down with somebody that you are friends with in a coffee shop and you're having coffee with them, are you going to sit there while you talk to them instead of looking at them? You're going to be looking at your phone. A lot of people do that. I personally think it's rude. I am going to pass a rule in my house, in Mimi's house. Hello. In Mimi's house, there will be no more phones at the dinner table. So if it's me and Mr. Rockstar and we're sitting in the living room watching TV while we eat dinner, then that's different. But if we are sitting down at my dinner table, there will be no phones at my dinner table. There will be no phones at my dinner table. I have often seen in restaurants that same thing, Lee, where people aren't engaging with each other. They're on their phones. And I've realized that I need to be much more mindful of my attention. I'm guilty of that when having coffee with hubby, when we then get a good laugh and put the phones away. Yeah. Mr. Rockstar doesn't say a whole lot, but every now and again he will say something, because he knows as a creative person himself. Yes, I am doing Camp NaNoWriMo this April. I actually have a little bit of room in the cabin, not very much, but a little bit of room. But I found that it's just this week made me so aware of one of the main reasons I don't have a whole lot of time to write is because I haven't made the time to write because I'm so busy doing all the other things that are actually not necessarily a waste of my time, but I could be doing them much more efficiently if I didn't spread myself so thin in all the other areas. Yes, you had your birthday with someone, and my only request was no phones, just back to one-on-one. Yes. Hello, late to the show. No phones at our table either. Yes. So that's just one of the new things. So one of the other new things, like I said, is after a certain period of time, I'm not going to be available on social media. Now, if it's for something that's pre-planned, like an event, like a live write-in or the Bright Stuff tweet chats on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I want to make those more. But if I'm on Twitter doing the tweet chat, excuse me, I am not going to be on Messenger or Facebook or anything else. I'm going to be having my attention put to that because Camp Nano and I are having a love-hate relationship. Yeah, well, me too. And I am late to the show once again, but I'm getting there. if I spend this Camp NaNoWriMo doing my outline, that will be words towards it, I suppose. And then part of it writing and part of it doing an outline. It'll be all right. I have all these wonderful intentions, but sometimes getting everything done on time doesn't always happen because I'm so busy doing all the other things. One of the reasons I had signed up for Allie's Plan Your Peace course wasn't just that I needed to work smarter or not harder, but also, and I needed to get my own system together, but because I'm not having enough follow through and I'm running late with things, and that's not a good thing. Part of it is the ADHD. Part of it is overwhelming myself with things. I put too much on myself and I haven't delegated enough at home or in other areas, like setting things up. I'll be glad when I get to a point where I can't afford to outsource some things, maybe my laundry. I don't know. The cleaning. You really need to get better about being on your phone. Yes, your dad's a truck driver. Yes. Mr. Rockstar works 12 to 13-hour days, and it's a 30-hour commute to where he works now because he's now local and not over the road. So when he is home, he only has a limited amount of time here before he has to go to bed because he works such long hours. And as a truck driver, he has to get enough sleep. You don't want somebody behind heavy equipment like a big truck, an 18-wheeler, who hasn't had enough sleep. So my time with him is limited. Now, when he goes to bed, I can go to bed with him. And sometimes he goes to bed too early for me to go to bed. But sometimes when he's working night shift, I can get on and do a few extra things. But I still need to have some time for me. So I need to be careful about my time. I need to be more careful about my time because I have been feeling really, and I didn't realize how flustered and frustrated and I had gotten about things until taking this week off. It was very, very hard for me not to post anything on Patreon and on YouTube this week like I did, to take a break. I posted the chat on Patreon and the PDFs, but it was very hard for me to take a step back. And I realized if I had extra content already ready to go up, I wouldn't have had to not post anything. So I don't film ahead of time like a lot of people do, though, because I'm a daily journaler. I don't have extra, and I realized that there are some extra things I would really like to do that I could do and film them and have them ready for times when I need to take a little bit of a break. That maybe I could do some creative journal kind of videos for Patreon and a couple of creative journal kind of videos for YouTube to have them ready. I have gotten away from the plan with me's so much because nothing's been working right. I do a plan with me, and then I'm looking at it, and if I'm doing it, and I'm only doing it to put the video up, and I'm not actually planning, like really planning or doing, if I'm making to-do lists, but I'm not doing my to-dos on the to-do list, or, then there's no point really. It's a waste of my time. And I've been trying to figure out my system, and I've been playing around in a lot of different things lately in a lot of different ways, trying to figure out something that will really work for me. So starting Monday, I'm going to be really tracking my time. My Fitbit broke, but my phone has alarms on it, and I'm just going to keep a Post-it note with a couple of different things and write times I start and finish things. And that might actually take a little bit of extra time to be logging down my time like that, but I think it's really important. I think it is, and I think that if I can find a way to manage my time a little bit better, with planning, to figure out something that will really work for me, but how I plan, what I'm planning, where I'm not just writing to-dos because there's a bunch of things I know I need to do, but I'm not planning out actionable steps for things. Or I'm planning out actionable steps, but then I get so overwhelmed or so like everything else is going on that I don't follow through with my actionable steps. Because I could journal all day long. Chronologically or not, there are all kinds of things I could do in a sketchbook or in my journal or whatever. And I love writing. So I'm to the point now where I've just realized that my self-care, it needs some adjusting. And it's such a great topic to talk about this month because we're ending the first quarter of this year, this new year. And I realized that, yeah, I need to make adjustments because self-care, I've been remiss with a lot of things. I put some of my health, on the back burner, like, one, because of money, two, because of other things, not going to the dentist for over a year, um, actually for longer than that. It's about a year and a half. My uncle and his family live out in the country and they don't have internet, Wi-Fi, or cable. They do have smartphones and laptops and go places where you can use the internet. Follow through is follow through. I don't have as much problem with following through with small regular tasks that are easier to do. My follow through is with the bigger stuff. If I overwhelm myself and I don't give myself enough time to do certain projects, I don't plan out the amount of time it will take me to do things, and I don't plan in other things that might happen, might come up, then it will take longer. And then so I eventually follow through, but I'm doing it and it's late. And then sometimes instead of it being late, I'm just like, oh my God, this is getting ridiculous. And I get frustrated and then I quit. And it's rare that I quit, but there have been times when I have quit. And I think it's important. Mr. Rockstar has actually talked about how we actually spent more time together when he was over the road and I went out with him. And that we did spend a lot of time together. And he said, or when he was home, our time together was actually more quality time when he would come home from being over the road. When I overplan, I rebel and deliberately sabotage myself. I've learned I work best in mini steps, 10 to 15-minute projects, not 2-hour commitments. Yes, Hilma. I find that if I make a long list of to-dos for the week and I give myself the whole week to get those things accomplished and I divvy them up, if I start with the ones that are, say 10 or 15 minutes, right, the big projects and the little steps, yes, that works for me. So if I start with something that I know is only going to take 10 minutes and I go ahead and get it done, if I can mark off that one, then I'm like, oh, I got that done. And then I'm like, yeah, so I'm ready to rock and roll with something else. And then I can find something else that will only take me 10 or 15 minutes. One thing I have noticed about them is how active they are, also how creative they are. This is all compared to us. Your family, yeah. I know people who don't allow their children to watch TV. They will occasionally watch like certain children's kind of movies, but you also don't eat the frog. Yes, yes. I rarely quit, Barbara, but there are times when I will give up on a project for a while. I quit for a while, and then I'm like, it stays with me and it stays with me, but I'm so frustrated that I get blocked. And then I have to eventually go back to it. But if I didn't let myself get so overwhelmed to begin with, that wouldn't happen to me. That is the one part of me that realizes that sometimes creative block, whether it's artist block or writer's block or whatever, is sometimes self-imposed. because of something we are having trouble with. Either we have put too much on us, or we've overwhelmed ourselves. We haven't given ourselves enough time, or we have our focus is divided for a lot of different reasons. I think that happens. We don't, sometimes it's simply because we haven't taken enough time to refill our well. This week refilled my well on a completely different level than I have had my well filled in a while. And it's because Mr. Rockstar, we planned this while he was going to be off, and quite a few days. And I was actually able to recuperate and to have somebody help take care of things. And I wasn't allowed to overdo. And that was really hard. I was on the couch and he was in the kitchen and he asked me something and I got up and went in there and I'm like, well, he said no. And he moved me. He's like, come on. And he held my hand and he walked me right back into the living room and was like, get back on, go ahead, get back on the couch, get the blanket. And he said, get comfy. He said, you can answer my questions from here. I can hear you. He said, just answer my questions. So he would not allow me to do any work. He cooked, he cleaned. Um, I did start the laundry. He put the laundry in the dryer and he folded it and he put all his laundry away. I haven't put my laundry away yet, and I need to. That's something I'm gonna be doing tomorrow. Is putting away all of my laundry. It's all folded and in a basket. But today I did some other things. So what I've been doing to get back into the swing of things is doing, putting myself one chore that's a bigger chore and one chore that's a little chore to get back into the swing of things, because there were some things I could do, but I was in so much pain. And then the weather went crazy here. We had temperatures that were freezing. So my arthritis and tendonitis and fibromyalgia kicked in as well. So that was just not good at all. One of your problems is that you let the devices take up so much of your time. Yes. See, I grew up in a time when we still had rotary phones, when owning a personal computer was out of the question because personal computers would take up your whole desk and they were outrageously expensive. At 50 years old, I remember when the first cell phone I had that I could actually afford, the battery in that cell phone was the size of my cell phone now. So I am not, my kids will tell you, I check my voicemail like once a week or once every couple of days. Now I've gotten better about it, but usually if I have a missed call, I call people back. I don't like voicemail. I never have. I don't like being tethered to a phone all the time. I'm not really a phone person. As cute as they can be, I'm not a phone person. I like my tablet, but see, my tablet doesn't have Wi-Fi unless I have free Wi-Fi. Like it works fine at home, or it'll work at Starbucks or somewhere that has free Wi-Fi. But my tablet does not work unless there is Wi-Fi that's free. So I can use it all day long at home because I have my password in it and stuff for my Wi-Fi. But my phone, I don't even have, I have my phone done to data. And it's a prepaid, inexpensive, dumb smartphone. And I have been tempted to get a better phone, but every time I start being tempted to get a better phone, I think about how tethered I could end up to that phone, and that just kind of squashes that for me. Now, I realize because a lot of what I do as a creative person is on social media, it might make things easier, but there isn't anything that I couldn't do on that phone that I don't do on my tablet because I work from home. And if Mr. Rockstar were to end up back over the road, we've already made plans for me to get a better laptop and for us to get better phones and to get the Wi-Fi like through Net10 or Straight Talk or somewhere where I could have Wi-Fi internet wherever I needed it. You know, I'd have my own because I would still be doing videos. but I would have a much more mobile way to do things. Which might make it more interesting because it'd be more like a travel journal for half of the time. But that's not going to happen right now. It's been really weird. This whole week has been a lot of lessons learned. Lessons learned about taking better care of myself in a lot of the ways that I wasn't even really thinking about as self-care. Mr. Rockstar fussed at me because I don't have enough time off for myself, away from everything, away from the house, away from work, away from social media, away from anything that's technology driven, even if it's only for an hour or two, where I am completely away from home, technology, anything and everything that, away from the house for a couple of hours, away from technology for a couple of hours, and it doesn't have to be the same couple of hours. And that is a really good way to get burnt out, because if I were back working when I used to work away from home, I had half a day off during the week and then a whole day off on the weekend. And on Saturday was like a 3/4 of a day. I worked for 3/4 of a day, 3/4 of my time. And then on Wednesday, I had half a day off. And on Sundays, I had days off, or my days off. And I don't have real days off anymore. And that's a problem. I need to let go of some of that control. I'm either going to grow and I'm going to do better, or I'm not. And if people don't understand that you need time off, that you can't be available on social media 24/7, I get messages on Messenger all times of the day and night, constantly, sometimes, repeatedly, back to back, and I don't check Messenger all the time. It is all about balance. I also feel my creativity would be better if it wasn't so. Yes, if you weren't so connected. It's like having too many supplies sometimes. Having too much to choose from is another thing that I feel like my creativity would be better. So I've been looking at how to do some things with stuff that I have. I'm still doing use it or lose it. I'm still going through some of my stuff, and what I don't use, clothes wise and everything else, if I don't. So with some of the social media, if I don't use it, I'm losing it. If it's not something I use on a regular basis, I'm losing it. So some of the apps that are on my tablet, some of the apps that were on my phone, I got rid of them. I hate Messenger as well. And if it weren't for having Facebook groups, but I don't have Messenger on my phone. And I'm not checking Messenger on the tablet after a certain period of time. I'm not going to. If you want to talk to me and you have something that you need to discuss, send me an email. journeywithburgess.com. You can send me an email and I will be more than glad to write you an email back, and you'll probably get much more detailed response with an email anyway than Messenger. I'm not a fan of not a Messenger messed up my old phone, and I ended up with a virus. I don't like Messenger. I do, however, like emails. I don't know. I think at heart I'm more of an old school person. I prefer snail mail. I prefer, tangible books. I prefer a real book to an ebook. If I could get a phone that was a smartphone that still had a little keyboard, I would much rather have a real keyboard than the touch screen. I hate a touch screen. I hate a touch screen, which is why I don't use Messenger and all that crap very much on my tablet, because it's touch screen and I'm constantly having errors in my words, and I don't like autocorrect, and I hate it. Your text volume really mushroomed when my sister died. Unspoke seems to be the only way my niece and our organizer went to communicate. Yeah, yeah. When my dad died and my mom was in the hospital, I had my phone and her phone, and the text messages were friggin' unreal. Doesn't work for you because you'll go through periods of time where you barely use an app, then you go through and use it like crazy. I think there are some apps that I know beyond a shadow of a doubt I could absolutely get rid of. I got them and I've never once used them. So some things that I absolutely know I'm not going to use, I'm getting rid of. I'm about to go through all of the apps on everything, the extensions on Google Chrome, all of it. um, I recently got rid of an app that was on my tablet that I tried to use and it wouldn't work. And I tried to get rid of it and didn't. And then I got frustrated because it's all touch screen. And then I went back to it just recently while I was on the couch and actually finally got rid of it off my tablet. And I think I've got so much stuff to learn. I've got a new video and photo editing software I need to learn. I've got a drawing class on Sketchbook School. I've not watched the last 3 or 4 videos of. I need to finish up because I want to start a new class as soon as I can afford to get it on Sketchbook Schools. And there's also a couple of other classes that I would like to take, eventually. Sometime this year, I want to take a few more classes. I've been looking at, what is it, craftsy.com, and what's the other one? They have some really good classes on those. Udemy, is it Craftsy? What's the other one? That aren't very expensive. But I'm not paying for another class because, one, I can't afford it. If I haven't finished the class I've already signed up for, and I need to finish that class first. I need to finish what I start, or there's no point in me doing other classes. Master class. That's the writing class. That's the writing class I want to take. Miss Vicky B's is I've taken one of her journaling classes. Time off is even more important when you work for yourself, and setting a schedule and planning your day with built-in time off makes it a bit easier, just like you're working away from home. Yes, Amy, yes. Mr. Rockstar and we're talking how it would be a lot easier once I get my metal building moved from my parents to here and can make it my creative room, and then this will be his room. Craftsy is great. Yes, they have periodic sales. I don't think their unlimited plan is worth it for you, though. I haven't done anything with them other than when they've had the free things. You just signed up for Patterson's class. Well, you're going to have to let me know how Patterson's class is, because I've actually thought it. Also, having self-dates is a great thing. I've been scheduling timeouts for myself, and it helps. I used to schedule artist dates every weekend, but I found myself more and more, the busier I got, not following through with my artist date, my date with myself. And just recently, I realized I wasn't following up with them all the time. Sometimes, and then sometimes my artist date was to go in the backyard and sit at the picnic table and do some plein air sketching. But when I made an actual artist date with, want to experiment by giving myself a Dutch oven in the shower. Pretty sure you are, I don't even know what that was. Then Craftsy and Udemy too, are like the different platforms. You need artist dates. Yes, I need time for me. And whether Skillshare is the other one. Taking time off this week. Yes, Skillshare is the other one. I signed up for a Cyberlink Power Director class when I got that software on Udemy, and I got halfway through it, but I realized that that software, for 2 years, I tried and tried, and I got through enough of the classes to get the basics down, But I realized I was never really going to mesh with that software. So now I've got something different and I'm trying to learn it. But I have to film videos with voice. My biggest problem is editing the voice because I need to get rid of so many ums and the really long pauses. So I have to learn how to do jump cuts with the vlog kind of videos, you know? And if you notice, sometimes I stutter a little. So I try to cut out a lot of that when I do videos. I had a hard time. But when I started taking the classes for that, that was so I could learn to do better, you know, with it and learn some of the ins and outs with it. And then I got to thinking, people were doing, you don't do vlogs at all. People were doing videos. People were doing videos, and then they were saying about Skillshare and Crapsy. And I just started checking into Crapsy. You're going to hold on for just a second. My allergies. We have pollen everywhere. Whew. I didn't want to cough directly into the camera. My car is covered in pollen. I need to wash it. And I was out almost half the day today and all in the pollen. And I need to, I guess I'm going to have to start taking the allergy medicine on a full-time basis again. But I want to do more things for me. I do videos, but blogs are just too much. The coffee chats really are the biggest. See, to me, it's all a video. I guess vlogs are the face-to-face, right? Where you're face-to-face, more day in the life. See, when I think about vlogs, I think about day in the life videos. That to me is vlogging. And I don't do a whole lot of that. Every now and again, I'll do a little bit of it. I don't share very much of it on YouTube anymore. I do a little bit of it every couple of months for Patreon, where I do a little bit of filming of my day in the life. I took my camera with me today, and I asked the lady when I went to go get my hair trimmed, and she was like, no, you can't film. So, yeah. And when I went to Sephora today, because we actually have a Sephora now, because they have a Sephora in our JCPenney's. So I don't have to drive an hour and a half away anymore to go to Sephora or to Ulta. And I always went to Ulta. But my daughter's like, well, Mom, now that Sephora's here, you ought to just go there and you can get you one of those reward cards and build up. So that's what I'm going to be doing. But when I went there, I thought about taking the camera. I thought about getting the camera out and doing some of the video in there. And then I was like, no, this is for me. When I go back, however, because I'm going to go back in a few weeks, and I am going to get a few other things. I'm getting rid of all my old makeup that I've had for years that needs to go. It needs to all go. I'm cleaning out my makeup bag, use it or lose it. I'm cleaning out my makeup bag. But see, to me, those are vlogs, day in the life, what Casey Neistat does, or however you say his last name. Some of that stuff, some of that stuff is vlogging. I think of some of the other stuff is more of just like chats. Your sister actually works in our Sephora and JCPenney's. That's cool. I was disappointed that the Sephora didn't take JCPenney coupons, because I just got a bunch of JCPenney coupons in the mail. So that is one of the things I did for myself today, was get my hair trimmed. And I asked her about straightening my hair, but evidently they have changed their prices. And the girl who used to cut my hair no longer works there. She works at one of the other stores. It's about an hour away or so. And and she wanted to charge me double what the other girl used to charge me to straighten my hair. And I was like, no, it's okay. I'll just do it at home. And I don't straighten my hair very often anyway. So I was like, you know what? That's okay. That's quite okay. I've been trying to take better care of my curls. Some they do, some they don't. You're a Sephora girl because the points are very worth it. Yeah, well, I just started the points. I got Kat Von D's foundation and setting powder, and I got Urban Decay's setting spray. You're like, my curls are now soft. Yes, get rid of the old. I'm getting rid of the old stuff. I get Ipsy, but I'm about to get rid of Ipsy and switch to something else because every time I turn around, I'm getting face masks from Ipsy, and I'm not happy with Ipsy anymore. I used to get really good stuff, but I'm not very happy with Ipsy at all. I don't even bother to do a what's in my Ipsy bag. Do you go somewhere for nails? No, nope. This is the polish. This is my nails. I used to get my nails done. I just started taking biotin. Been taking biotin now for about, it's probably been about 3 weeks. And that's what I do. I started taking vitamins. Biotin's one of the big ones. And I have what is called, it's the gel polish that you put on that you don't have to put anything else with. And this is this one that I used to have. This is LA Colors Color Craze Nail Polish with Hardener. I don't buy super expensive. I have a couple of super expensive polishes, but I find that they don't last as long as the cheaper polishes. So I go to Walgreens when I have points or rewards, and I get gel polish. I get, when they have them on sale, I get different brands. I just get whatever. I like Sally Hansen's. This is the hard as nails extreme wear, the 2 different color grays. I really like the matte grays too. But yeah. And then when I think about it, I have the extreme strength and grow that you put on first. That's it. I just started really doing them myself because the acrylic or gel or whatever you get, no matter which one you get, because I tried all of them, they mess my nails up because they have to file your nail and makes my thin nails even thinner. My curls, though, Romney suggested using rose water, which is, I have a face mist, and I also spray my curls with it. I spray my face with rose water and my curls. And I found this really big bottle, and it's a glass bottle of rose water at TJ Maxx for $6.99. Thank you. I have started co-washing. I've been doing co-washing back and forth about once a week. I wash my hair 2 to 3 times a week. In the summertime, I wash my hair 3 to 4 times a week because of the humidity here. I don't wash my hair every day. In the wintertime, I could get away with washing it once or twice a week. You love The Ordinary. It's amazing and inexpensive. Oh, you mean a list of some of the stuff that helps a ton for those of us over? Yes, over 40. Yes, Amy, yes. So I like rose water. Rose water is, for me, one of the best things I found to spray on my hair. That I use it instead of dry shampoo, or instead of I mix this stuff. If it's just going to be for my hair, I'll buy a big bottle of it and I'll mix it. I don't have an Ulta near me at all. It's an hour to an hour and a half away. But I do now have a Sephora, and I do now have a Sephora card. But I like the Kat Von D makeup. This is my first time right here. I still like Bare Minerals eye makeup. I need to find a better blush and a better bronzer. I don't do contouring really. I do a little bit here and just a little bit, your mom's talking to you. But I started taking biotin, and actually I need to take one now because I took all the other vitamins, but this one, um, to help with my hair and my face. And this is supposed to be really good for skin, hair, and nails. And I've noticed since I've been taking it, my hair is actually better. But my mom got me and my sister-in-law and my daughter all one of these little really cheap manicure kits, the little set for Christmas. It was one of our stocking stuffers. I think we got these from Dollar Tree because I went with my mom to pick a lot of the stocking stuffers. And I leave this at my desk. Um, but I used to get my nails done, and I don't do it anymore. Um, I use Walmart's brand of Nourishing Nail Polish Remover. I don't do anything fancy. I don't do anything fancy. But having my hands in front of a camera all the time, I would like to have polish. I like for my nails to be just a tiny bit like past the whatever you call this part of your finger. um, and that's about it. I don't like them to be too long because I type so much. I don't really like them to be real long. NYX has some great blush and bronzer. Yeah, I need a bronzer that has more of a brown or gray undertone and not that one brown or orange peachy color because it makes me look like I look like Trump. If I use certain blushes or bronzers, I end up looking orange. I look like a Oompa Loompa because I have rosacea, so I have a lot of red undertones in my skin. But yeah, I've been trying to pay. Do you mind telling us what state you live in? I live in South Carolina. I am originally from Charleston, South Carolina. I grew up on James Island. I still live in South Carolina, but I no longer live in the Low Country. I live about an hour to an hour and a half away from Charleston, depending on where you're talking about. That's okay. I live about 10 minutes from an Air Force base. So I get a lot of the planes. Used to use Physicians Formula bronzer. Yeah, I've used Physicians Formula. As a matter of fact, that was actually what makeup I got. Some of their stuff when my daughter did my makeup for my wedding because she did my makeup. My daughter's all into makeup and she's an artist, but she's really into makeup and what she can do with her eyes. But she doesn't have hooded eyes because she's still young. She's still in her 20s. Um, but yeah, I like lipstick and I like having pretty eyes, but I'm not really into a whole lot of I like basic eyeliner. I I couldn't to save my life do those wing things with the eyeliner. Um, Skin routine. I believe it or not, I use is it Pond's? Hold on. Yeah, I use, and my curls are all over it. I use Pond's cold cream cleanser and Pond's dry skin cream. And this is what I wash my face with to get the makeup off. And then I have some eye makeup remover. And then this is the lotion that I use. And I also have Aveeno's nighttime. Um, it's the nighttime one. I like Aveeno and I use Aveeno when I have it, but I ran out and of their makeup, their cleanser and makeup remover, and then their cream. I don't do real fancy stuff. I tried the more expensive you hooded eyes. You gave up eyeliner. So I should make sure to you. It's a soft shade and extends. Yeah, my daughter helped me figure out how to do my eyes so that I use a matte. I use, it's actually, the color is a more, I have one that's a yellow and one that's a really, really pale pink. They're skin tone colors for the very top. I use 2 or 3 different shades of what would be brown, neutral gray. One is a brown gray, one is a brown, and one is a different, another shade of like a brown. It's like cashmere, I think is what it's called. They're matte. That's what I put in the fold to go up and for the darker color. And then I use Celestine by Bare Minerals. It's in a little thing. It has a tiny bit of shimmer to it, but it's not glittery. So, but that's what I use in the middle. You have a permanent eyeliner, so that's not a problem for you. You got hooded eyes and you're 31. Yeah. But I don't use a lot. I use a little bit of, I have one of those brushes that you can use the darker shade of the brown for underneath, that I'll do that makeup underneath. And then I take a little bit of eyeliner and put it in the, I guess, the rim when I don't wear contact lenses. And then I go about 3/4 of the way. I don't go all the way with the eyeliner because because of the glasses, you don't see a whole lot of my eye makeup anyway. Now you can see, let me make sure everything's okay. You can see when I wear contacts, but you don't really see all of the eye makeup with my glasses on. I could actually get away with wearing more eye makeup with my glasses because you don't really see as much. And a lot of my makeup is now gone because it's now 11 o'clock at night. So, this is from earlier. A permanent eyeliner. One of my mom's best friends had gotten the permanent eyeliner thing. And that always seemed like it'd be like her, it would be painful to me, like a tattoo. So does anybody have any questions? Because now I've rambled from planning and self-care to makeup to all kinds of things. But you know, these were things I needed to do for myself for a good while. When I get some extra money, there are some candles I would really like to order. Maureen sent me a healing candle, and you can purchase them from Amazon. And oh my God, I love the smell of that thing. I mean, I love the smell of that thing. So the next time I get some Amazon affiliate money, I'm going to be getting some of those candles. Other than that, that's the only thing I haven't done lately because I've actually been using tea light candles with the wax burner things instead of regular candles. Girl talk is fun. You're right, Barbara. Girl talk is fun. And you know, I think sometimes everybody's thing, like what we're the things that we're into are different. But I've noticed as somebody who's older, a lot of what I learned when I was in high school, finding that there was a whole planner community makeup channels. I love Wayne Goss, Gothamista. I'll have to watch hers. I love Kat Von D's products. Oh my God, me and my daughter used to watch Kat Von D when she was doing the tattoo stuff, when she first went, oh my goodness. But I've noticed that a lot of the stuff I learned about makeup when I was in high school, and my mom took me to Belk's. which is like a Dillard's or JCPenney's. I don't know if there are Belks all over the country, but there are Belks out here. And I got Clinique. My mom wore Estee Lauder at the time, but I got Clinique, and I have on and off had a love-hate relationship with Clinique ever since I was in high school, and I'm 50. I'll go back to it when I'm not quite sure of what I want to do, and that's what I just got rid of. I just finished up a different one of Clinique, just finished it up. But because I know it'll work. Until I can figure out what I do want, I know it'll work. But that doesn't mean that just because I know it will work that I actually love it. It just means that it works and I like it well enough and I don't have the issues that I have with some other stuff. I use Bare Minerals on and off, but I've noticed that the older that I got and being on YouTube, it either made me look white as a ghost or it looked too powdery, too flaky. And what I've noticed as I get older, I remember first I was taught all kinds of things that now are big no-nos with makeup. Now are big no-nos. Like for a while, they told you to put your blush right here on the apple of your cheek. Then they said, no, you put it back here. You don't want it on the apple of your cheek. You want it more back here where your cheekbones are back here. Now they're back to, some of them tell you, yeah, put it on the apple and put the contour or whatever, the the bronzer or the contour back here and the blush right here on the apple of your cheeks. Yeah, they do reviews. Hot and Flashy is another one I watch, and there are a few different ones. You're older, and then but you totally get what you mean about Clinique. It's one of the first cult makeup lines that you could get in a department store. Yes. And I have used Estee Lauder. I've used Estee Lauder's Double Wear, and I like it okay. And I like Clinique. I know that those two will work. Clinique doesn't have the fancy smell that Estee Lauder does. But I can fall asleep with Clinique on my face and not have to worry about a breakout, whereas a lot of other makeups, if I fall asleep with makeup on my face, you can forget it. And then because I have rosacea, I have to be really careful about what kind of makeup I use because it can cause some makeups have too much perfumes and things in them. And I don't want my rosacea to get all up in it because I've had it where I've actually had whelps if it gets too bad because which is why I use simple things like Pond's face cleanser and lotion or Aveeno, because I don't have to worry about that messing up my skin. Once I had my hysterectomy and didn't have to worry about hormonal problems anymore, my face is actually really cleared up. Really cleared up. I did notice I got a few bumps when my tooth got loose and got infected. Double Wear is the only foundation that works for you. When it's on, it's on. The only problem is you have to wash your face twice to get it all off. Yes. Yes. Contouring is also beyond my brain. But I was watching, I'll figure out her name. She has white hair and she's like some kind of actress or something. And she's in the over 50 range. Hello. She was talking about one of her eyes is a little bit bigger or shaped a little bit differently than the other eye. And she showed what she did to get them to be the same size. One of my eyes is like that. Or maybe it's a little lazy. I can't remember, but it's, her face isn't symmetrical and mine isn't either. My smile isn't symmetrical. I had Bell's palsy in my early 20s and one whole side of my face froze. When it did that, it was paralyzed. Like I had been a stroke victim and I had to take this really strong medication and all of this. And they weren't sure if it was going to go back to normal, but it did, but it never did completely go back to normal. You stopped wearing makeup when you were pregnant when you're oldest, and I'm so glad I don't have to deal with it anymore. Coming to peace with my face has been a process and is still in progress. If I didn't have rosacea and didn't have such wonky skin, I probably would not wear makeup. I like a more natural look with my makeup, which is why I don't do contouring. The only thing I do is a little bit right here where my jawline is, and I don't do it enough so that it gets rid of this, because I have such a small chin that it's not dominant enough. It makes me look like when I'm filming I have a double chin, even though I don't have a double chin. I just have a really small chin. I actually have a tiny cleft in my chin, but you can't tell so much because, you know, so that's about the only contouring I actually do is right here. I would like to be able to contour my nose. But then I'm thinking, well, I don't know, because see, my nose isn't completely symmetrical either, because when it paralyzed, it was like almost the cartilage on one side, like flattened. So, you know, I'm like, oh, well, you know, I don't know. I'm not modeling, you know, and I just figure, you know, I put the best face forward that I can, and I don't worry about it. Yeah, yeah. And if I lost another 20 to 25 pounds, this would probably go away. Hello, if you're a troll, you're gone. Just saying. But it would probably go away if I lost another 20 or 25 pounds. It's a lot better than it was, but I've lost about 20 pounds. So it's getting better. But I have chubby cheeks, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Um, my little grandson, my daughter doesn't have a weak chin, but my son does. And I was thinking when I posted on Facebook that thing, thank you, Miss Brenda. On Facebook, they had what would you look like as the opposite gender? And I was like, just like my brother, but with gray hair. But when my husband looked at it, my husband said, you look like an older version of your son. Your son, and my son looks just like me, only he's got gray eyes and they turn blue or green, like depending on what he wears. And his hair is straight. But his hair coloring, he looks just like me, but he has different color eyes and his hair straight. But my husband was like, no, that actually, he said, it does look a lot like your brother. He said, but that looks like what Doug's gonna look like when he gets old, my son. Okay. You know, but it's funny because I remember being in high school and being taught all these things about makeup, and now they're completely different than what I got taught way back then. The stuff with eyeshadow, oh my God, when I was in high school, blue eyeliner and blue eyeshadow and the feathered hair were big. The big hair was big. I graduated from high school in 1985. So you can imagine flock of seagulls haircuts. I mean, we're talking all of the craziness. And I had this hair. Yeah, makeup is very complicated. And I don't like it to be real complicated. And when I went to Sephora, I asked the lady, she was like, well, you could do, did it? I said, nope, 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 nope. I said, I talked to my daughter about this stuff. And I said, I need a foundation. I need a setting powder, and I need a setting spray. Because when I get in front of the camera, it makes me look whitewashed, some of the makeups and stuff. And I said, and then I'll see how this goes. And then if this works well, then the next time I come in a few weeks, I'll come in every 3 or 4 weeks, and I'll get a product. And I'm every product that goes in my bag, for every one product that goes in my bag, 2 products have to leave my bag. I'm getting rid of stuff. I'm going to try really hard not to say any cuss words so that they don't demonetize my video. But if I could get away with, I don't think I'd be as potty mouthed as Cindy is, but I do have a potty mouth. So, but I want to get a bronzer, you know, because I get whatever sun I get whenever I go out to do yard work, or when I take my walks, or when I'm just out playing in the yard with Victor. I don't go out and sunbathe anymore, unless I can get a pool, and then I'll be using sunblock. But Oh, yeah. I was married to somebody in the Navy, and my dad, my real daddy, owned a gas station. My stepdad, my dad that just died, he and my mom were married for 40 years. He was a truck driver and a heavy equipment operator. My dad didn't cuss too much in front of my mom, but my mom, anyway, then I was married to somebody in the Navy. Now I'm married to a truck driver, and I have a potty mouth. I have to watch my language in front of my mom. It's okay if you say the SHIT word or the DAMN word in front of my mom. Those two are okay, but anything past that, and you might have to go wash your mouth out with soap. Yeah, my mom. Yeah, not a good thing to say any of the other words. Um, yeah, but I don't like. There are a lot of words that I just hardly ever say. Um, GD, MF. I don't say those very often. If I say those, I'm beyond mad. If I don't say anything, then that's when you really need to run. If I get real quiet, if I shut down, if I'm so mad I don't say anything, then I'm really mad. Um, but I have a potty mouth. I have to be careful when I am doing videos for YouTube. I think they've heard me a couple of times or two. I know Patreon is when I drop stuff in the middle and you'll hear me and I'll start cussing. If I had been filming the day that I dropped the bottle of platinum carbon black ink on my carpet in here, it went down my desk. It fell and went down my desk, and then it went on the floor. So the carpet in here's got to be replaced. My great grandmother was from Ireland, and my family has always celebrated St. Patrick's Day. Therefore, as an American, I celebrate St. Patrick's Day. I've actually been to Savannah a time or two to celebrate it. I am Scottish, Irish, and Native American. So there are certain holidays I celebrate, certain holidays I don't. Mostly St. Patrick's Day to me is all about celebrating the fact that, um, my grandmother came over from Ireland and her family and brought her, and she was able to meet my grandfather, whose parents migrated here. One of them migrated here from Scotland, and the other one, bunch of different. There are lots of people with Irish heritage. It's also a Catholic holiday, and it's pretty Christian. Yeah. Hello, Nancy. Christian country. I guess some people. I don't. I swear like a sailor, and I say all those words, and it takes everything I have not to say them in my videos. Yes. The other day, I know I filmed a video. Oh, I've yet people don't hear my language. Could I get it? No, I can't get it out of the carpet. But you know what, Helma? My husband swears I did it on purpose because we have shag carpet in here. And when I tell you it's shag carpet, I mean it's shag carpet. My husband inherited this house. It is a family house. It was his oldest sister and her husband and her kids. She is quite a bit older than me. I want to say Vicky is probably really close to being 60. Okay, and then, well, so we're talking Mr. Rockstar was like in elementary school, and he's almost 11 years younger than me. So they bought the house. Then they moved to Utah where his family was at. And then his uncle bought the house. His uncle was killed here in the house. And his dad, his uncle only owed like $3,000 on the house. It's like a very little amount. And he'd worked really hard to pay for it. And his dad kept it. Well, it sat empty for a long time. And because it's sat empty for a long time, we've had a lot of work to do on it. And so Mr. Rockstar and I have been doing work on it. This shag carpet that's in the bedrooms, now the rest of the house doesn't have it, but the bedrooms do. And it's old, and we've steam cleaned it, but we can't afford. I would much rather replace other things that need to be replaced first and foremost before worrying about the carpet. But I do steam clean it. But I have been trying to talk my husband into putting Pergo into all of the house except for the bathroom and the kitchen, the bathrooms and the kitchen. And maybe next year's tax time doing that. But he didn't want to. I've had to work on working on things little by little. Little by little, trying to replace things. But it's very sentimental for him. Very sentimental for him. And he's just now, because, this was his uncle's house, and his uncle was killed in the house. So he's very, very, and my husband's a sentimental person anyway. So little by little, we've been changing things. Well, he's realized after steam cleaning the carpet quite a few times how dirty the carpet really is. You need to replace carpet so often. And this carpet's been in here forever. It's shag carpet. Hello. So my daughter loves it. My daughter likes how soft it is and how fluffy the carpet is. So yeah, in an art room, yeah, I have a big sheet of linoleum that I bought when I bought my building, my metal building that's at my parents'. And we were going to put it in the room here, but we would have had left over. Well, we decided to keep it for when I get the building moved here. It's a 12 by 30 metal building. It's a shed, big, big. And I'm going to put that in there, linoleum down, because linoleum will come up easy and be replaced easy in an art room. That way I don't have to worry about spilling crap. And then we'll hopefully in the next 2 years get all the carpet out of this house and get Pergo put down, which we live in a house that's built on a slab. So we have cement floors. So it'd be hard to put something down like, like hardwood floors. Certain things won't go on a cement floor, but Pergo will, and it looks like hardwood. And you can get Pergo that's actually made out of real wood. So that's my goal, is to get Pergo put throughout most of the house. I've been doing a lot of the stuff that's been done in here. It's been DIY. So thanks, Alec. Thanks. Last 5 years, spending half your time with 75 alpha males fighting, it takes its toll. I bet. You got to step it up, control those ruffians. Yeah. I grew up with all boys, which is probably how I started down the path of having a potty mouth, because I grew up with all boys, older and younger. I only had one female cousin out of that whole bunch, and she's like 1.5 years younger than me, and that was it. Everybody else is all boys. I'm the oldest granddaughter on both sides, and then the next to the oldest granddaughter in my stepdad's family. So yeah, growing up with all boys, I didn't have a choice in being a tomboy. If I wanted to play with people, I had to do what they were doing. So, they would fake that we were playing flag football, tag flag football, but it was really tackle football, unless my grandmother was watching. You got to sign off to, thanks, Bert, thanks, Barbara. Yeah, it's getting kind of late. I don't know how long I've been on here, but I appreciate all of you showing up. Does anybody have any questions? Because I'm going to do the voiceover for my Journal with Me for Patreon, and then I'm probably tomorrow morning going to film some stuff for YouTube and for Patreon and get it all done so I can get it up over the weekend. This will be the last weekend I actually work. Hey, Tamara, you're editing. You just wanted to pop in and say hi. Thanks, Tamara. I was uh, some just sort of a home invasion. No questions? Thanks. Thanks. I appreciate it. I'm glad you thought it was a lovely chat. Only granddaughter, only daughter, older and younger brothers. Well, my real father, there were 6 of them, boys and girls, half and half, pretty much. Yeah, 3 boys, 3 girls. My mom's family, there were 10 kids. One of her siblings died at 13. I think my mom was 13 and he was 15. So I grew up, so there were 9 left. So I had 8, just 8 aunts and uncles. And then when my daddy died, a little couple years, my daddy died when I was 7. My mom got remarried. I was 9. My stepdad, there were 10 of them. So then you add in their spouses. So I had 6, 7, I had 8 grandparents because my mom's parents got divorced and got remarried each. And then I had 2 great grandmothers that were alive when I was growing up. One of my great grandmothers died when I was in high school. The other one didn't die until I was in my 30s. So I had a lot of grandparents, but because my daddy was the oldest in his family, out of the siblings, and then my mom was of not the oldest, but out of 10 kids, my mom was sort of in the middle. So she had her youngest brother, her youngest sibling is her baby brother, and he is only 10 years older than me. And then my daddy's youngest sibling is only 8 years older than me. My Uncle Johnny was only 8 years older than me. And I'm the oldest granddaughter. I have 2 male cousins above me on each biological side, and then quite a lot of male cousins, and only 1 female cousin above me, and then a whole bunch of boys below, and then some girls below. But mostly the girls are like, other than my 1 female cousin biological, and then my 1 younger cousin, and then older cousin, the rest of them are like a decade or so younger. So that's a big gap. Yeah, it was sad that he died. It's very hard for a family. But my husband's uncle and his mom and everybody, they're really happy that we're in here and fixing up the house and taking care of it and doing things with it. We've done a lot of work with the yard and a lot of work with the house. It's time to start getting some more work done. Mr. Rockstar, though, I told him if he wanted to, he could take the purple room and paint it navy blue if he wanted, because dark midnight blue, put stars on it. I don't care what he does with it. And we could make this the guest room / Mr. Victor room. When I get my metal building, my she cave, creative cave, moved here and get it set up, then he'd have a room of his own. We want to eventually put on add a garage on, because that's where he'd be jamming, is in the garage. Soundproof part of it. I know there's a little bit of a lag, so I'm going to give it just a couple minutes and see if anybody's got any questions, and then I'm going to get going so I can get some journaling done. I did like the new Ipsy bag that came in, though. I'm not going to color mine. I'm actually going to leave mine black and white. I have a window unit. My dad had set it up as his man cave because I had originally bought it and was fixing it to be a studio apartment. Um, so my dad has we have a window unit in it. For air conditioning because I live in South Carolina and it's really humid here. And then I have two different heaters. We'll see whichever one is more efficient for the winter time. But I have a window unit in it. We'll just have to be careful about moving it when we'll have to take it out of it and then put it back when we move it when we have it moved here. Hopefully in the next 6 months. Hopefully by the end of this year, I can have it here. It's going to cost a pretty penny to get it moved here because it is a rather long one. It's a 12 by 30 metal building, so it's the size of 2 bedrooms. That's a long shed. It's 30 feet long, 12 feet wide. But I'll have plenty of room in that. Plenty of room in that. One side can be art, and one side can be writing, and the middle can be a reading chair. You've been setting up April and your cousin while listening. There you go. I think I remember what 50 looked like when I was young, what 40 and 50 looked like to me when I was a teenager. And I never wanted to be what I thought of as the 40 or 50 or, that was so limiting. My thoughts were, one, judgmental back then, and two, very limiting. And I've realized that we can be as old or as young as we are health wise and mental wise. The more a body stays in motion, the better off you are. The more your mind stays in motion, the better off you are. The better you take care of yourself, the better off you are. So I've been trying to, little by little, get rid of bad habits to have better habits, to lose weight naturally by being more active and eating less crap. You're 52 today, hit me hard. 50 was easier. Happy birthday! I haven't really been on social media, so I am so sorry. Happy birthday, in case I did miss it. I find that my birthdays aren't as bad as my kids' birthdays. My son will be 30 this summer. I will be 51 right after the next month. And I find that every time he hits a milestone birthday, because I am 20 years and like 6 weeks, 5 weeks older than him. I had him a few weeks before I turned 21. So, and then my daughter is 26. My daughter will be 27 in October. So every time my stepdaughter just turned 18 in December, and my grandson will be 6 this July. So every time one of my kids has a birthday or my grandson has a birthday that is a milestone, like turning 18 for my stepdaughter, for David's daughter Kayla, that was a milestone. I was like, oh my God, when we started dating, she had she was only like 12. You just turned 12. I was like, ah. And so, you figure as long as Helen Mirren looks so amazing at 70, there's hope for you. Yes, yes. David and I were watching Ellen yesterday, and David said, baby, did you know that Ellen is 60? I was like, no, she can't be 60. And I was like, geez, oh my God. I think Oprah or whoever it was that said it, 40 is the new 30. 50 is the new 40. We do look better. I think people do look a lot better. I think the age does look a lot better on people these days. I don't feel 50 most of the time. Most of the time, I still feel like I should be like in my 30s. And I'm wondering where all this time went. And I'm like, God, if only my body was still like I was in my 30s, it'd be cool. If my butt was still up higher, you know. But I would rather have a little bit of the gravity that's hit, because life, you're right, Brenda, life is better. How I take care of myself, I took a lot for granted in my 20s and 30s that I don't take for granted now. I wasn't as in tune with myself. I worked a job that I hated to support my kids. I tried to go back to college, and it was a lot of different things, you know. You laugh and say you're 29. Yeah. I don't I don't I don't think I've ever, my one of my best friends, she's a year older than me, and she always told people she was 21 and shipping, 21 plus shipping and handling. And she looks young. And I've always looked younger. That's simply good genetics. I've always been carded. I still, on occasion, if I don't have makeup on and I have my hair in a ponytail with like a t-shirt and my Converse and jeans, and I go somewhere to buy a bottle of wine, I'm going to get carded. I'm going to get carded, especially if you can't tell I have the gray streak. Um, I'm going to get carded. It wasn't until I let the gray start growing out that I quit being carded as much. But if I have my hair back in a ponytail and you can't tell that it's actually gray hair and it looks more like a highlight or something, and I don't have on makeup, I'm going to get carded. If I'm not remotely dressed up, especially if I were, yeah. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing. But if I don't take proper care of myself, and I hate to say it, but I didn't take good care of my skin or any of that when I was in my 20s and 30s. I took for granted that I needed to wash off my makeup at night. You date someone in their 30s? Yeah. My husband is 39. I am 50. You haven't been carded since you went gray? Yeah. You're in the best shape you've ever been in, and it just keeps getting better no matter what age. Yeah. And a lot of it has to do with how we think, our mindset, and a lot of it has to do with our taking care of ourselves physically. I am not in the best shape I have ever been in physically. I went through a really rough patch with fibromyalgia and uterine cysts and tendonitis. My shoulders kicked in and I couldn't even move my arms up. I couldn't put on my own bra or take off my t-shirt myself, put it on or take it off myself. I almost ended up having to have surgery, and thank goodness the physical therapy worked. But I went through a really rough patch, and since then, I've been little by little working through on the good days, taking walks, and slowly but surely getting myself back into a place where I'm getting physically healthier and healthier. I'm not a gym person. I don't like the gym. Um, but I do love nature. So I walk. I walk. I love stretching, and I've been doing what I've been calling baby yoga for beginners yoga for a good while, and that's actually helped. Um, so I like to get out and cut the grass and get out and do gardening and get outside and go walking, and I want to get to a place where I can start running. It takes me longer to heal the older you get. Yeah. Now, if the weather here is really bad, when we get a lot of rain and the fibromyalgia, the tendonitis, arthritis, all that crap kicks in, I'm doing good to go walking. I have to stretch every morning when I get up, or I'm not going to be completely mobile. Um, So fortunately, though, I've figured out what really works, and sitting, when you have a job where you sit a lot, um, it makes it harder to be, because you're more sedentary. So I make it a point to get up and to go do things, take breaks and get up and go wash dishes, take breaks and go get up and do some laundry, get up and go outside and take a walk. You get on your treadmill 6 days a week. I wish I had a treadmill. A treadmill. You hear the accent. I wish I had a treadmill. Um, my neighbor has one under their carport, and he gets on that. He goes running every day, and then on the days when it rains, I see him on the treadmill under the carport. I can hear it. If I could hook up, if I had somewhere to put a treadmill in here, I would do it. But I thought about getting a standing desk, but I don't know if I could use this, if I could do that. I don't know. All right, y'all. It's a quarter till 12 here. So if anybody, I'm gonna give you like 5 minutes or so because of the lag. So if you have any questions, you got like a few minutes to put them up, and I'll answer any questions I can. But yeah, I feel a lot better after having some time off, and well, my mouth is a lot better now. You want to get a stationary bike. I have a real bicycle, and Mr. Rockstar is, when he has his next few days off, he's actually going to get it out and make sure that the air is in the tires and everything works. And I'm going to start riding my bicycle, going for bike rides again. I love riding a bike. See, I do that. What is it? Walk a mile. There's a channel on YouTube where you can walk with this lady, and I do that usually if it's raining really hard. Sometimes I get out and walk with an umbrella. Oh, Deb, you were here. Hello. But yeah, I think I'm going to be a lot more mindful of taking time, not just writing it down in the planner, and then letting other things get in the way of it and becoming more and more important than me actually taking artist dates. You have a stationary bike you use in the hot and cold weather. Thrift, yeah, there you go. They have some really great stuff at thrift stores. My neighbor has a treadmill on their front porch, and um, on the other side, and they're in the process of moving some of their stuff. They bought a house like within walking distance. They live in the mobile home that's on the side. The couple that have the house just like ours, but that has a carport, they're the ones with the treadmill underneath the carport. But I think I'm going to ask the neighbor next door about that treadmill. I don't know where in the heck I'd put it in here. I have no idea. But the weather needs to get it to. Yes, yes. We've had freezing weather and then 80-degree weather. So it's been 80 degrees and beautiful and sunny. And then we've had rain and freezing. And then we even had a threat of snow in March in South Carolina. And I don't live up north in South Carolina. I live in what would be called the Midlands. So I'm sort of more towards the coast than more up north. I'm not up north. I live about an hour away from Columbia, South Carolina, and about an hour away from Charleston. So we're only about 45 minutes from Myrtle Beach. You feel like your life is on hold. Yeah, when the weather's crappy, yeah. I like the sound of rain to write to, but my body does not like rain. You've had 3 nor'easters expected for it. I hope not. If you live on the East Coast, I'm hoping you don't live on the East Coast and we're not going to get more of this crap. I really hope. I'm ready for spring. Having that 70-degree, late 60s, 70-degree, almost 80-degree weather Fahrenheit here for people who are out of the U.S. Um, it got me, everything started blooming and got green and flowers started blooming and I'm like all excited. And then we got freezing. So it's raining. Is that Missouri? I think MO is Missouri. You live in New Bedford, Massachusetts, right on the Cape, right on the mouth of Cape Cod. Yes, Brenda, Missouri. Oh yeah, my son tried to do boot camp in Missouri. Woo! Yeah, he said it was extremely cold. I've always wanted to go to Cape Cod, and I want to go to Maine. Every time Leanne does videos of Maine when it's the beach, when she does the little stuff of the beach stuff, I'm like, oh, I would love to go where they did the filming for so The Greatest Storm, the one with George Clooney. I had that book. I think it's The Greatest Storm. The Perfect Storm. The Perfect Storm. You had snow last Sunday. Yes, The Perfect Storm. I've always wanted. I want to go where they film that. You love it. You live in the historic district near the harbor. I need to see more pictures. Yes, The Perfect Storm. Yes, I want to go where they film that. Gloucester. As a Stephen King fan, like like there are a lot of places I want to see that I've imagined in my head from various books. Like I got to travel and see a lot of things when I went over the road with Mr. Rockstar. Um, but there were a lot of things that we didn't really have time to really look at, check out, and there are places that we didn't go anywhere near. I want to go to Utah to visit his sister because I've never been to Utah. And I want to see, I want to see Niagara Falls and I want to see the Grand Canyon. I've never been to California. You accidentally parked in front of his house in Bangor. It snowed yesterday, but sun tomorrow. Ohio for you, and it won't be over for you. Wow. Yes, the perfect storm. I have to say, I'm a big Wahlberg brother, Wahlberg fan. I like those two. Donnie Mark. Yeah, I'm big fans. Um, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. Um, yeah, and I've always been a George Clooney fan. I was a George Clooney fan before he made it like super, and he was on ER. Um, you're from Toledo, Ohio. There, I went through places in Ohio, Mr. Rockstar, in the big truck. We went through a lot of places, more eastern states. I've never been to California. I've made it all the way to Texas, all the way up into New England, all the way like across to Indiana. Um, I went to the Bahamas, and all the way down to the very tip of Florida and across the Panhandle in Florida. Um, so there are a lot of like I went all over to quite a few. You love George. Yeah, come to Utah. Yeah, Mr. Rockstar was born in Provost. I'll have to look up and see where Vicky lives in Utah. But his sister lives in Utah. His nieces and his niece's children, they all live in Utah. His oldest sister. Yes, we can definitely have a coffee date. They had a sister ship to Andrea Gale, docked at the Marine Museum in Gloucester for many years. Oh, I would love, like, my goal when I was in high school, I kid you not, when I was in high school, what I really wanted to do was live on a houseboat and be a writer, write books and live on a houseboat. Now, Mr. Rockstar is not a fan of water. I can't even get him to take a cruise. Unfortunately, the Poseidon movie is one of my favorite movies. I love that, like the old one with Gene. I love both of them, the newer version and the older version. It's just a really good movie. But the newer version had the documentary video that came with, and we watched that. And after that, we were planning our wedding, and I was like, well, why don't we take a cruise? And he was like, no. I still can't get him to take a cruise with me. So I don't know. I mean, eventually maybe I could get a houseboat and it be my writing shed. Because he's not going to do the water thing with me. He knows how to swim, but he's not very good at it. So I don't know. Maybe eventually I can build a cabin on a lake somewhere and have a houseboat in the backyard hooked up to the dock and just kind of take my houseboat out sometimes. But I'm not going to get him to live on it with me. So if I got a cabin and then had a houseboat hooked to a dock, it'd be cool. You sailed on a tall ship. It was amazing. Wow, I bet. See, I love the water. I grew up on James Island in Charleston, so I was always by the water. To me, the smell of marsh smells like home. When I smell the salt water, the sea water, the marsh, I smell home. That's what I grew up with. I'm nowhere near water now. I'm like an hour to 2 hours away, depending on which way you go. Write a story about your dream. Yeah, maybe I'll have to write a character who lives on a houseboat. But that was my goal. I grew up on a place where you went to the marina, and a lot of the people who were more affluent had sailboats. You know, we didn't have a sailboat. I had a John boat. You live in a cottage on Lake Barkley. There you go. I love, love, love. I loved having a John boat. I had paddles. A friend of mine had a John boat. She had a little motor and the paddles. But I had a little John boat and it had paddles. And I would get out on the lake, have me my knapsack with my lunch and stuff in it and my book. And I would, yeah, planner cruise. There we go. I would literally take my little anchor, drop it, and lay back in my John boat with the cushion that was a life preserver and read. Lay it on the lake in my little John boat, and I would read my book. So I told Mr. Rockstar, I said, I really want a pool. Really want a pool. I miss the water. I miss the water. I really do. I don't miss the price of the property where I grew up. But I miss being able to go swimming. And I think what I may have to do this spring and summer, once the weather gets nice enough, is go to the lake sometimes for my artist dates, and then maybe go to the beach, which is, like I said, 45 minutes or so. But it'd be worth it, even if I just took walks on the beach and took some pictures and maybe did a little bit of drawing. Take some artist dates maybe once a month and go to the beach, because it is a quite a bit a drive. Because you're talking touristy, I have to find a place that's no tourists. It is very expensive to live on the water. So I love, love, love. I mean, I'm okay with the lake even. I mean, I don't have to live on the salt. I don't have to be at the beach. If I could just have a lake close enough for me to walk. But yeah. But I think that's what I'm going to do this spring and summer, is spend more time doing things that are relaxing, not just away from social media relaxing, but peaceful, mindful relaxing, that give you that peace of mind. And I love taking pictures. Filming out in public, not so much. I don't really care to do the vlogging thing in public. And my social anxiety, whew. You live within walking distance to the docks. The fast ferry to Martha's Vineyard leaves from there, but it's $80 for the ticket. It would be worth it if I could just I've never been on a ferry. Never taken a ferry. I just want to see, yeah, I just want to take the ferry. um, but yeah, I've always wanted to go on one of those Mississippi, one of those, the boats that have like that, like, you know, what are they? The poker, you see them in the movies where they, the ferry boats. It'll come to me. I'm having brain farts. I want to say it's a ferry boat, but a ferry boat somewhere that takes you from A to B and back. It's not a ferry boat. It's a, what you call it? It's the fast one. It takes about an hour. See, I want one that takes a while. I want to enjoy my ferry ride. I need to find a ferry that I just want to ride the ferry and then go back again. I know the name of them. Shit. The river cruise. Yes, like a river cruise with the thing that does this. The water wheel. Oh, crap. It's on the tip of my tongue. Now, see, in person, this shirt looks more paddle boat, river boat. Yes, yes, yes. In person, this has a more green undertone. It's like a teal color. It looks more green, which was, I wore, you know, St. Patrick's Day. But in this video, it actually looks blue. They have the slow ferry from Hyannis. I'm going to have to come visit you. I'm going to have to come visit you. There's all the, yeah, I'm going to have to visit everybody. I'm going to have to pull a Jen, I guess. And, you know, once I get some of this established, once I get more stuff, I'm going to have to get like a travel trailer and just go all over the United States. And then I'm going to have to get a passport so I can visit Hilma. Because I haven't been to Canada, but if I'm going to go, I'm going to have to visit Hilma. Maybe Hilma can meet me at Niagara Falls. And I have to go to Seattle. I'm going to have to go visit Jen. I'm going to have to go with her to the beach and find those little glass pieces, the glass pebbles. See, that slipped. You can tell I'm getting tired now because I can't think of the name of anything. New Bedford was the whaling capital of the world. There's a lot of historic stuff here. You have a pond on your property. Come on over. There you go. My dad could build ponds. Before he died, I always wanted my piece of property for him to build a little pond, and I wanted a weeping willow tree in the middle of the, you know, to have a pond around a piece with a weeping willow tree and a bench on it. But the property where I have my sea glass, yes, the piece of property that I have where my parents live, there's too much sand, so you can't build a pond. My dad would have already built a pond on that property. You have 2 miles from the river. They have paddle boats. There you go. So see, I'm gonna have to get a travel trailer, and when Mr. Rockstar retires, we're gonna hook the travel trailer to the back of the truck, and we're just gonna hit the road. And I will do videos from everywhere else. I know there's some planner ladies that have a travel trailer or whatever, and they go places and they film. Craft ladies. Not the Reset Girl. I know she has one, but there are these ladies, and I don't know if they're planner or crafts, but they go all, I think, want to say they're crafters. But yeah. All right, y'all. It is 1 till midnight. I'm going to say my goodbyes. I hope that y'all have a great weekend, a very happy St. Patty's Day, or if you're not celebrating St. Patty's Day, a happy weekend, a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend. And I thank all of you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'm so glad that y'all joined me because I didn't plan this. This was on the fly. But having not posted anything to YouTube all week, I felt like maybe this would be a really good idea. It's good to see y'all too. Thank you so much for chatting with me. And if you ever have any questions or anything like that, please feel free to email me. You will get it may take me a couple of days, but I promise you'll get much more of a chance of a response from me via email than anything else. The email is listed below, and I promise you, if you ever have any questions or anything, you're more than welcome to please email me. Talk to y'all soon. Good night. Bye. Okay.